the guidelines on the assignment 1, which is due on the 10th of May. I'm going to give you some general guidelines, and then I'm going to go through each and every question and highlight the important things and maybe address some few issues. And if you have further questions, we can discuss that as well. So general guidelines, this assignment focuses on Learning Unit 1 and 2, as well as chapters 1 to 4 of Killen. So the Learning Unit 1 and 2 are the 2 learning units on VC Learn. If you click on Learning Units, and then on Learning Unit 1, and as well as Learning Unit 2. Please, very important to remember, after you have done your assignment, to read through everything again and to edit and proofread and do that again after your first edit to make sure that there are no spelling mistakes, that the grammar is correct, and that it is a logical order. Very important, in all 3 questions, you need to reference. If you use an idea of someone else, you need to reference, paraphrase, and then you also need a reference guide or a reference list at the end of your assignment. Before you submit, please export your Word document or wherever you worked in to a PDF before you submit. So question 1 is about understanding the NCS, putting CAPS into practice. So Killen recommends a systematic way of making sense of the information in CAPS to approach your day-to-day planning. Below is a flowchart using the designing down approach to curriculum planning. Refer to the CAPS intermediate phase for social sciences to answer this question. Refer to your prescribed textbook to understand the necessary concepts. You will present your answers sequentially, starting with step 1 and respond to the statements in column B. Write a short paragraph for each step. You do not need to replicate the flowchart. Use the marking rubric to guide your answers. Right, so first, very important point to remember is that everything that you refer to, you should use the CAPS document for social sciences. So that is the subject that you are doing for this question 1, social sciences. So only that CAPS document is applicable for question 1. So also in your assignment document, you've got this designing down step-by-step process, which you follow. So this left-hand side, or column A, refers to the CAPS social sciences document. All the sections, relevant sections addressed in column A. And column B are actually your instructions, step by step. So the first step would be a paragraph, second step would be a paragraph, and so on up to step 8. So actually it is your answers that you write in paragraph format. So you can do this in a Word document. You can start as a Word document. I will show you a template that I've created for this assignment. You are welcome to use it. Otherwise, you can make use of your own template. If you have already started on that, it's 100%. You could just maybe edit a bit or tweak a bit to follow everything that is needed and all the requirements. So question 1 is basically just following these instructions step by step and answering column B as paragraphs. So if we look at the marking rubric, that is our very important framework that we use. Before you submit, you have to check that you follow the rubric. You always look at the description in the highest level of achievement. In other words, this 5 marks. To receive 5 marks, every step of these the instructions should be well formulated that evidence a strong understanding of the content with obvious reference to CAPS requirements. So each of these steps should be reference to the CAPS document, and you should use the correct referencing format. So each step weighs 5 marks, and you use Killen pages 8 to 11 for clarification, as well as the social sciences CAPS document. Poor quality formatting in your referencing will result in a penalty of a maximum of 5 marks against the percentage. Just a note to the marker, that is me now, use the same generic criteria for each step and populate the table below. So you as well, for each step you need to clearly formulate your response that evidence a strong understanding of the content with obvious reference to CAPS requirements. Right, so each step weighs 5 marks. Are there any questions on this question 1 so far? I see that that some people are experiencing sound problems. So people, yes, the best is to leave and try to rejoin. So maybe that would work. Any questions on question 1? Okay, I'm going to go on with question 2 in the meantime. Question 2, planning for quality teaching and learning. When planning for quality teaching and learning, teachers must make clear the outcomes they want learners to achieve. This will help teachers select appropriate teaching strategies to meet these outcomes. Bloom's, revised by Anderson and Crathwell, created taxonomies of learning, which are hierarchical ways of classifying possible learning outcomes. Your instructions for this question is to refer to any CAPS document in the intermediate phase for subject content to guide your responses. Right, so you can use the math, you can use natural sciences, you can use any language, you can use life skills. So or social sciences, any CAPS document, because you need to make reference to the subject as well. Now you're going to create an infographic using an online tool. Online tools examples are Infogram, Canva, and Pictograph. So you can just type in Infogram or Canva or Pictograph into Google, and it will take you to one of these apps that you can use. It's an online tool to create wonderful infographics, and you can also get ideas on how to create infographics. Also refer to your marking rubrics to guide you on the expectations of this infographic. So what you're going to do is you're going to use one of the apps. You can choose which one. You create your infographic on the app or in the app. And once you are done and you are satisfied, you need to publish this graphic that you have created. Otherwise, it will not show up if you send the link to me or insert the link. So you first need to publish or share the infographic in that online program. If you don't know how to do that, you can always Google how to publish or how to make an infographic a shareable link, and you will get some videos or even downloadable PDFs that with instructions on how to do that. Once you have done that, you copy the link and you insert the link in the Word document. You can't just paste it in the Word document. You need to insert, go to insert and then link. and you insert the link after you have published it in the program. And then you also take a screenshot of your infographic while you are still in that app, and you paste that screenshot in your Word document. All right, so if I open your Word document or the PDF actually that you have exported it to, if I open it up, I will see question 2 with a link, a blue underlined link that I can just click on, and that would take me immediately to your infographic. Please make sure that if you click on that link, if you ask your friend to click on that link, or your mom or your dad or whoever on another computer, and they click on that link, that it does indeed open up your infographic, because remember, you don't have a second chance for me to see that. Then as well, just to make sure everything is there, take the screenshot of your infographic and insert it in your document so that I am able to clearly see what is going on. Right, so let's just focus on what is an infographic. An infographic is where visuals and text is used to create an easy to understand, striking overview of a topic, so that we can understand by just looking at that one pager or that small infograph, that we understand what is meant by a certain topic. So your text should be the minimum, but it should be enough that we understand. So you use pictures, shapes, icons, visuals to make it interesting and striking. So for question 2, you need to create an infographic that illustrates the 6 domains of cognitive levels with a relevant description of each. So remember, your description should be short, the text should be the minimum. Then you need to list 5 action verbs that map to each domain, and craft 2 outcome statements for each domain that map to the verbs identified above. And that is that you're going to need your CAPS document to create those outcomes that you have to craft into this infographic. So if I can just show you how an infographic looks like. If you look at the one with save money, for instance, there are 8 little blocks or shapes with icons and words and a short description. So if you look at this infographic, it could give you an idea of how you want to tackle the 6 different cognitive levels with a verb as well as a description, and then also 2 outcome statements, which you will then get from a CAPS document of the subject of your choice. Say, for instance, natural sciences, your outcomes would then come from your CAPS document. So as you can see with the examples here, it's like a wall poster that you create online. So it should be attractive. Your text should not be overwhelming. Your icons or pictures that you use should be clear, should be colorful, and readable. No spelling mistakes. Use font that is easy to read, and not too much text. So you're not going to write paragraphs, long paragraphs in an infographic. If we look at the rubric, also reference, please. When you use ideas, you need to reference. If we look at the last column, to earn 7 to 8 marks, you have to look at this column and make sure that for question 2.1a, which is the 6 cognitive levels that you have identified and described, it is correctly represented, with an explanation that evidence depth of understanding. The verbs that you have chosen in the second question, or part B, are correctly mapped to all 6 domains, 30 in total. So it's 5 verbs per domain, and that is why it is 30 verbs in total. And then for number C, both learning outcomes for each domain are written in full and evidence a strong understanding of the principles of writing learning outcomes. So for each domain, you would have 2 learning outcomes from the subject of your choice by referencing the caps. So in total, you will have 12 learning outcomes. And then for the design of your infographic, you could earn a total of 6 marks. An original design that shows creativity, is neat, shows clarity of thought, and is a useful guide for others. Right, so any questions on question 2? Yes, you need to reference pictures as well. If you use an icon, you can just include it as a list of figures in the end of your at the end of your assignment in your reference list, or what do we call it, bibliography. You can make use of a list of references there as well. But if you use an icon like I did here with the ones that you get in Word or in PowerPoint, you don't need to reference because it's from the online bank. But if you use any other pictures, you need to reference. You just indicated small font at each picture. I didn't get that question. Okay, let me just go back to the chat section. Can we reference after every question? No, you reference at the end of your assignment. One reference list at the end. Right, let me go on to question 3. Question 3 is about teaching strategies. So here you're going to write an essay, a comparative essay, on the teacher's role in the planning and implementation of direct instruction and small group work as teaching strategies. So you're going to compare these 2 teaching strategies, direct instruction, and the other one is small group work. Those are the 2 teaching strategies that you are going to compare in a comparative essay where you describe the teacher's role in the planning and implementation of these 2 strategies. Your essay must not exceed 800 words. Include the word count at that point of the essay. Just a note on this, I am not going to mark after that word count, so please stick to 800 words. If you go 10% over and below, it is still fine, but I'm not going to mark up to 1,000 words. 880, then I stop. Okay, so everything after that is not going to be marked. Do not include your reference in your word count. All right, so references is your reference list. They are listed in a reference list, so that is not part of your word count for this question. Ensure that your essay compares the 2 strategies. Refer to marking rubric to guide you on the expectations of this essay. Remember, your essay is like an English essay. You've got an intro, a body, and a conclusion. Please do not indicate a heading, intro, next heading, body, next heading, conclusion. Okay, no headings like that. It should be just an essay with paragraphs Short paragraph as an intro, where you state what you are going to discuss. And then you've got your body, which will consist of a few paragraphs to get to 800 words. And then a conclusion paragraph in which you conclude what you have discussed and you end off with a strong statement. So let's just quickly look at our reference, at our rubric. So again, please remember to reference. If you get the ideas from anyone like Killen or any other resource, you need to in-text reference as well as list that reference in the reference list. So you need to make sure how to do that in text as well. So in your essay itself, I should see your brackets with your paraphrasing, with your referencing. Remember, that is very, very important. So you get 10 marks for direct instruction, 10 marks for discussing the small group work, and for the comparison in itself, so that is actually your whole essay as a whole, we give you 10 marks if we can see that your understanding is clear and you can see similarities and differences in both strategies, and you have a strong opinion that you present in your essay. So for both the two strategies, you need to discuss similarities as well as differences. And you write it with academic insight. And that means that you have to make use of resources, credible resources, and paraphrase those. Right, any questions on question 3? The minimum word count is 720. You may go 10% over and below the word count. So you are limited to 800 words, so you need to stick to 800 words. No less than 720, no more than 880. Okay, so can I quickly just show you the template that I've just quickly created on Word or in Word? It looks like this. You always start an assignment or a POE with a cover page. On this cover page, you indicate your name, surname, student number, and the module code. That is the most important information on this cover page. You may use a picture here, you can use a color here, it doesn't matter. Or you can just leave it like white as it is here, but indicate your name, surname, student number, and module code. You may use a bigger font, make it attractive if you like to. It's up to you if you want to give it a personal touch. But this should appear on the cover page. So when I give something like this in square brackets, it is just the note, the instruction of what should be there. This is your cover page, so that is the page that you start with. So on the next page, you always have a table of contents where you list all your headings with a page number. So in here, it will be, for instance, question 1, question 2, question 3, reference list. And then you indicate on which pages you start with which question, as well as the reference list on which page it is. So for question 1, you've got a heading, question 1, and this is the heading of question 1, understanding the NCS, putting the CAPS into practice. And then you indicate step by step what you are discussing. So you may include the step if you want to, you may use a numbering, or you may just write it in paragraphs. But I must see all the different steps in this order. Question 2, the heading is Planning for Quality Teaching and Learning. So here in square brackets, I just say that you create an infographic in the online program like Canva, Pictograph or Infogram. You take a screenshot of that infographic and you paste it here. If you have done that, you could also publish the infograph in the online app and insert the link here in the document so that I can click on it and go to it in that program. But the preference is that you paste a screenshot here in the document so that I don't have to click on all the links. So please, a screenshot is very, very important. Definitely a screenshot. Because then for sure you also know that I am able to see your infographic. Because I'm not going to look for it and I'm not going to email back and forth to find out I can't see your infographic. So please supply a screenshot here and make it big, enlarge it so that I can see what you have written and that it is clear. If you insert the link, please make sure that it is published so that you have shared the link with me. If I click on the link, it should immediately take me to your infographic and I shouldn't want to worry about that, okay? Just please make sure about that. Question 3, the heading is Teaching Strategies, and this is a comparative essay of 800 words. You need to indicate your word count. There you need to write to me 786 words or whatever your word count was. Then lastly, but very, very important, is your reference list. And here you need to make reference to the IIE Quick Reference Guide. Right, so very important. Make use of this reference guide so that you make sure everything is done correctly in the reference. All right, so that is it. Righty, let me just look here. Does this mean that the in-text referencing is not included in the word count? Good question, dear. You know what? You can include it. You're not going to use that many. It's going to be like Killen, 2016, or it's going to be like Luneta et al., 2015, or whatever, or Department of Education, 2007, or whatever you have used. So that won't take as many words. So it would be easier for you if I say that it can be included. What I think they mean with this, let me just check the wording there. Do not include your references in your word count. I think they just mean your reference list. Your reference list will not be in your word count. What you can do is if you type on your Word document, say for instance, I type here and I say it is Killen 2017, and I go on and I say it's Luneta 2011, and I get a word count from that. That is 99 words, so then it's fine. This is my word count of my whole template thus far, so it is part of the word count. What I mean here, and it's me that's marking this assignment, is I don't want you to also take into account the reference list. The reference list is going to be a long reference list where you include everything according to the instructions here in the quick reference guide, and that won't be seen as part of this word count. So this word count would start after this heading. I hope that answers your question. Fixing settings. Will this be posted on VC Learn? The guideline that you made? Yes, the guideline that I've just given you will be posted on VC Learn. If you send a screenshot, there is no need for a link. I still want a link, my dear. I want a link. You need to include a link, because I need to see that you have actually created it yourself. Okay. Screenshot and link. Yes. Righty. The word count is actually for question 3. Yes, yes. The word count is for question 3. So you're just going to highlight. Let me just go to words. Yeah. You're just going to highlight this. And this say to me, it is 9 of 94 words. So when you are busy on Word, it's going to take all of the other words as well in the beginning of your essay. So if you want to see where you are at for your essay, you just highlight all the words that you've used for this essay. You look at the bottom left-hand side, it will tell you 9 of 94 words. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 words in this bolded, highlighted, or in this highlighted area. So that is how you could see what this question 3, the essay itself, how many words it is. Will this template and slides be on VC Learn? I don't know if you want the template. I just created it quickly for me to just explain to you. So I don't want to limit you with a template with these headings and this way, but if you want it, I can post it for you. I don't mind. It's up to you. So if there are people who want this template, I can put it up for you, but you don't have to use it. You can use your own font and style. It doesn't matter. Okay, I will add it. The network is struggling, so I will add it for you. But please, people, you don't need to use it. If you have already started on this, just carry on and make sure that you have indeed addressed all the criteria and everything is set out nicely. So I think the main thing is probably question 2, where you have to give me a screenshot of the infographic as well as the link, the shareable published link. Okay, any other questions? No other questions on